Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. We have your daily fix of football chat right here on STV. We're delighted to have your company, and the main talking points on tonight's programme: Scotland have a double header coming up against the Czech Republic and Denmark. Rangers first are considering a £500,000 interest-free loan to the Ibrox club. I eventually got that out. Also, congratulations to Mark McGee. He's the manager of the month. That's just a few of the topics we'll be discussing on tonight's programme. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin, and our bookroom guest is the respected journalist Hugh MacDonald. Doesn't get any better a build-up than that for you, Hugh. Scotland double header, Czech Republic and Denmark. Ruffy, Gordon Strachan suggesting he's going to use maybe two different squads for the games, which are 5 days apart, because he's going to give some of the players that weren't heavily involved and some of the emerging talent a chance to prove themselves.
Yeah, I think that's the time to find out whether the players on the fringe are capable enough of stepping up, and I'm surprised he's waited so long to get the games. You know, I thought we might have a game this month or next month, but yeah, it's a chance. There are a few players on the fringe, and it's up to them to show what they can do.
You never know, Hugh, over the course of the next 5 or 6 months, there may be one or two that you would expect could force themselves into his thoughts.
Yeah, I think he's got to freshen up in certain areas. Certainly, I would imagine Robertson, for example, left fullback, becoming a regular. You know, Gordon sort of played about with that idea of having him there, and I think the team really needs a sort of galvanised in a way. There's no hiding it. It's Czech Republic and Denmark where we really were wanting to go preparing for France, and we're really preparing for World Cup qualifiers, really, you know, so it's a bit downbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a long way off the World Cup qualifiers. He's got to use games like this to try and get a feel for some that maybe don't get Champions League football. Maybe some players, Ruffy, that are not playing in the Barclays Premier League, because those players are very much at the forefront of his mind, because he needs players who are used to top flight football at a quicker pace.
Yeah, he has, but as I said there, you know, it's making that step up. You know, I think the one person who has made that step up is the wee boy Richie. You know, if they can find more of him, you know, that can go in right away, and the goal he scored at the end there was sensational. So the more players that get a chance, yeah, you'll know the players during training what they can do, but you can't really test them until you see them playing in a big game.
Yep. Other stories we've got to discuss, Hugh. A strange one that's come up is Rangers first are considering a £500,000 interest-free loan to the Ibrox club. The immediate point that I was thinking about, the first question is why?
Exactly, and the immediate points, you know, the alarm bells start ringing in your head. You know, have they been apprised of stuff that's not out in a public forum at the moment? If £500,000 is needed, why can't the directors there give it? I mean, one director in particular has talked about war chests of 30 million plus. It's a story that gets deeper and deeper into turmoil. We know we can't comment on so much that's going on in the courts around the land, and will continue to go on in the courts around the land over this year. So yeah, it's a story that, you know, that slightly concerns you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of cynicism, I think, now, especially among Rangers fans who, you know, treat any kind of, you know, story about investment, story about, you know, having the better interests of the club at heart. A lot of them don't buy into it. They want to see cold hard cash. They want to see results. Mark Warburton's delivering on the park with the team that he's putting out there, which I think is buying a lot of you know, peaceful times for the board. Maybe some of the Rangers fans are looking and thinking, well, £500,000 short term might give Mark Warburton some more leeway to make sure that there's no contest in this championship race.
Yeah, but I think the Rangers supporters will be hanging on the voice of Dave King, who was promising, you know, going up to the bigger division, challenging Celtic, being a force in Europe, and certainly, as you said, if you're still continually to take loans off of people rather than using the money that he promised to put up there, it does ask questions, and it's obvious that they are not got the finances in a particular state that they're not losing money every month. So I thought this month they would have cleared the decks. I thought there's a few players there who obviously the manager has decided isn't going to be in the squad. So I would expect 4 or 5 players to be leaving before the end of the month.
Two other points concerning Rangers, Hugh. One on the park, which has been dealt with of it, and another incident off the park as well. Andy Halliday reduced to a yellow card. The right decision?
I think he's kind of lucky actually, because I think for what he was sent off for wasn't a sending off offence, because it was violent conduct where he put his shoulder and he didn't put the head on in for his wife, but he did lash out with his foot just before that, and I've seen that being deemed a sending off offence. But yeah, I think it puts the matter to bed anyway. Now I think 5 he's accepted his punishment. Halliday will soon be glad of a yellow card and we all move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I was at the game, Ruffy. I thought it was much ado about nothing. Certainly wasn't happy with 5's reaction to it, but by the same token, there was a case Andy Halliday shouldn't have got himself involved in it in the first place, but it was minor, skirmish to say the least.
Yeah, it was minor, obviously. Again, we get the chance to see it again, and he just sort of nudged him on the shoulder, and Fivey reacted to it, which was wrong. So I think that both players were wrong in the actions they'd done, but I think the outcome, as Hugh said, there was the right one.
What about the situation with the sectarian singing? The SPFL has confirmed, Hugh, that they're going to look at this at a meeting on January the 19th. Now, this is not cut and dried. I mean, there was singing inside the ground. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I was there. I was listening to it. I think Rangers may well escape punishment because there is a rule in place that if the club has taken, as much action and preventative action as they possibly can, then there's not a lot they can find under the current system and the current rules. But I think the SPFL has to take a hard line on this.
Well, certainly the line that's got to be taken on this at one point is this against the law or isn't it? And if it is against the law, and we know it is under the Offensive Behaviour Act, then it should be policed. And the people who do this should be arrested. Now, to put that down, I've got every sympathy for a steward earning the basic, wage, standing there with his yellow high visibility jacket, not wanting to arrest somebody belting that out. Well, 20 of his mates are belting out as well. Yeah. But that doesn't excuse the police. If this is a criminal act, and the government says it's a criminal act, well, then they should be arrested for breaking it.
Do you think there needs to be a change in the SPFL rules on it?
I don't think there will be a change. I think the rule is there to protect the clubs. I mean, you've got to remember the SPFL is a group set up to protect the interests of the clubs. Yeah. So the clubs are not going to change that rule because it protects them.
And the other thing that just leaves it wide open, Ruffy, and Rangers have come out and said that there was a minority involved in the singing, and that they will do everything to apprehend anyone who was involved in it. Now, I have to treat that with a certain amount of scepticism as well, because what do? Do you get the police to sit down and look at every bit of video evidence of people who were indulging in the singing? There's a lot of people will be heading into meat wagons.
Yeah, I still think that the police are Hugh's right. You can't go in and take 20, 30, 40 people. There is a segment, that it's coming from, and they should be made example of. And I'm talking about 5 or 6. 5 or 6 seem to be something's getting done about it, then the others might toe the line, and we're led to believe that the police are actively doing it. They're maybe not doing it visibly there, but they are following up leads and doing it out with the game, and that might be the way to do it, not to cause the trouble in the ground itself, but people, the football, the supporters there needs to be an example set to others round about that if I do this, I'm going to get done.
The problem with that, Hugh, is it comes back right to the forefront of our game next season if Rangers get back into the top flight.
Aye, and it's a thing that happens. I mean, a year ago we were talking about the same thing after a cup semi-final. Yeah. Where the police commander in charge of the game came out and said, "Oh, congratulations to both sets of fans. It was behaved very well." And we're sitting there and we're getting all the old songs once again booming out. Yeah. So again, there has to be the will to police this, and I'm not so sure there is. I mean, we'll wait for the further aftermath of this and look back and see how many arrests were made on the day. I mean, they're looking at the film now. Let's see how many prosecutions are made in this, because, as you know, if you were there and you heard it, it was a substantial section of the crowd.
Yeah. Okay, that story will go on and on. Whether there's any repercussions or not, we'll find out from the SPFL shortly, but it's a sad state of affairs in the game that still needs to be cut out. That's just one aspect of the programme. We like to try and concentrate on as much football as we possibly can. Join us after the break. Alan Ruff and Hugh MacDonald of the Herald will discuss some of the movers and shakers in the transfer window coming up next. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Hugh MacDonald of the Herald is our bookroom guest tonight. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin, and I think we're surely due a finder's fee for Darren O'Dea. He's on his way to Dundee. Ruffy, I'm delighted for him.
Yep.
He gets a move that keeps him at Dundee till the end of the season.
Yep, when he was on the show, he sort of threw it out there that he was very interested in getting a club to fill in if he goes back to India, and I'm sure Dundee's the way they're going just now would be good. Good to keep him ticking over.
Especially with the horrible injury to Mr McPeak as well, so you'll slot in well there. First player I'll ever signed, I think, from Mumbai Stars as well. That shows you the way of the world now, the global world.
Although, to be perfectly honest with you, I think Dundee created quite a number of firsts over the last decade or so.
Mr Ravanelli,
Caballero, there was a few in there, wasn't there? The Georgian Imzadze.
That's right.
Still recovering from a night out in Georgia with him. It was absolutely fantastic. So he's only 28, Ruffy. So I think from our discussion with him on the programme, his wife, his family will be happy because he's home in Scotland, which is great. You never know. I mean, if he does a good job, he gets a longer deal.
No, I think when he was on the show, he was honest enough to say that that footballer career is very short. He's going to travel about and pick up as much money as he can and experience other cultures, and that's what he's done. And he said, I think he actually said on the show that he's already had a chat with his wife about it. She's taken it on board that that is the way, and they'll have their whole life together after he finishes playing. But it'd be interesting if he gets a wee taste at Dundee, whether he would want to come back and play full time here. But the way he was talking, he was going back to India.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Ruffy, how our partners would take it if we said, we're going to do the Peter and Ruffy show in India for a year, because the money's good. We won't be back for the full year.
Doing an Indian restaurant for a year.
That's exactly it. Of course, that's no longer the case. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, Hugh, but Indian restaurants are out because Ruffy's wearing his new Christmas present tonight.
Yes, I have. I've got my new Fitbit on.
There you are.
I'm now going to be very fitness orientated, and I'm going to be very conscious in trying to lose weight because I'm not getting any younger, so
morbid.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
You know what this is, Robbie? This is a feature for the programme. What we'll do is we'll bring the scales in, we'll get the Fitbit now, and then to the end of the season, and we could be looking at. All I'm saying to you wouldn't be aware of this. In fact, you might be aware of it because of your younger days in journalism. Ruffy, 13 stone 7.
It's fighting weight.
Could you get back to that, Ruffy?
No chance.
No.
Not a chance in heaven.
If we cut one of your legs off,
and his head.
There's a confidence booster for you. But that's a great feature. Is it okay if we monitor over the course of the
I'm not coming on the show with one leg naked.
That's my job.
Exactly. Anyway, we wish you well on it. That's
Thank
good. And there are other devices that you can use that keep you fit as well. See how we cover our tail there, Ruffy. What about Mark McGee? Manager of the month, thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, and we've spoken about it on numerous occasions. He's got all his experienced players in there, and they're all doing him a turn. And he's turned it around, and he'll just be hoping that he can keep winning because we keep saying, you know, keep winning games in this division, and it takes you out of the trouble. And they want to go back into the trouble they've had in the last couple of years.
Well, it's funny you mentioning, you know, we've been talking about it quite consistently over the last couple of weeks about the Mark McGee effect at Motherwell, Hugh. And again, it brings me back to a book that you suggested I should read, which was Only a Game by Eamon Dunphy, which charts his career as a footballer. In one particular year for Millwall in the 70s, and again, you know, he wasn't into overcomplicating it. He was, you know, he wanted as a footballer the life of training and playing to be simple, and I think Mark McGee has gone in with that ethos. I'm not for a minute suggesting that he doesn't have the greater insight into the technicalities of football in the 21st century, but he's looked at it and said, okay, first things first, let's get fit, and then we can start to look at how other things will develop.
And he's managed the players that he has. He hasn't come in and said, my system is to play a certain way. He's come in and said, right, what's the situation here? What have we got here? What can I use? What can we capitalise on? One of the things he can capitalise on is pace. We saw that at Celtic Park, where he really did a job in Celtic at Celtic Park, where he really scared them through pace, playing, you know, the wide men in behind where the fullback should be. So he's used the resources there to get it. I've got a lot of time for Martin McGee as a coach. I think he, you know, technically he's a smashing coach, but he's also a mature coach, and he'll come in, he'll not try and baffle people with size. He'll say, this is what we've got, this is the way I want to play, this is the way I want you to play. And I'm pleased that he's got the manager of the month, because Motherwell again were in a sticky patch. They could have been looking at that. I mean, I think Dundee United have gone.
Yeah.
So, but I think this 11th place slot is a tricky one, and I don't think they'll be involved in that at all.
Even you said they're Dundee United are gone. Even if he splashes the cash.
Oh, I think unless he gets, I mean, if he splashes the cash and gets Messi, Harry Kane, fair enough. They've got a chance there. I mean, I just think. I think it's a redeeming goal for United now.
Yeah, Harry Kane, Messi. Okay, United are definitely gone then, because that's not happening. But Motherwell, I don't think will be in any way involved, Ruffy, in any playoff or anything. I think they'll be top six.
Well, the way they're going just now, yeah. But I'm sure Mark's experienced enough to know that you can be easily dragged into it. But you've got to keep winning games. But the level of performances they're putting in just now is really impressive, and he's changed it around. I mean, I'm sure the majority of the players would have been there. They carry on with the playoffs and that, and it makes a big difference when you're winning games.
Yeah, and of course Pearson is the star man.
But we forget so often, you know, like, you know, you see somebody like Stephen and you reflect on his injuries and he's been out of the game for a while. But you can also reflect on the fact he's played Champions League football. Yeah. He's played at a good level in England. This is a good player. Scott MacDonald's the same. You know, we forget that, you know, he was scoring goals against AC Milan. Right, he's got older, but there's still something there, you know, and with the young legs about him as well. I think he's been a really smart coach, Mark McGee at Motherwell, where he's looked at what he's got, as I say, and he's used it, and he's got some quality there as well.
Yeah, and he's still not really been given a chance to bring his own players in. No. That's still to come. You know, so if the owner was to give him some money, that's something that the Motherwell supporters could be looking forward to.
Now, there's another little story, Roffy, that I still think has got a wee twist along the way, which is John Hughes has confirmed that he is interested in getting Anthony Stokes on loan at Inverness. I still think, unless a club buys him, I still think, you know, Hibs could be in the equation.
Yeah, it looks that way, you know. But Cummins is playing well just now. I think any addition to any club in the transfer window brightens up the dressing room. It doesn't matter who it is. If somebody new walks through the door, it adds something, as long as it's not your position that he's playing when he walks through the door. But if he's a player with another position, then it's good. And if you know who he is, it can just add a wee bit of banter in the dressing room.
But if I was in a ding-dong battle that's going on at the moment between Hibs and Rangers, if I was a manager looking at a player that might become available on loan, I don't know what the carve-up would be in his wages, but if Hibs are to have any aspirations of really, catching Rangers, Ruffy's mentioned Cummings. If he'd to pick up an injury, would you rely on, no disrespect to Malonga, to fire them to the title?
Well, you wouldn't. Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, I think, I mean, Stokes is another one who, you know, because of his indiscretions over the past 6 months, you know, he's got a bit of a bad name. But people forget, if you used to have to look at his history of scoring goals, he's a goal scorer, and he has done it regularly for Falkirk and for Celtic as well as his spell at Hibs. But I think the crucial thing about Stokes will be how much of these wages will the suitors, whether it be Inverness, Hibs, be prepared to work up, because Celtic, frankly, I think want him off the books, and any donations will be gratefully received.
It's all right saying they want him off the books, but they're not in a great position either, centre forward. You know, if something was to happen to Lee Griffiths, you're relying on Chiefsey.
Well, they'd say they still have Cole as well.
You're still not going to bring. You're not going to bring Anthony Stokes in. No disrespect, Ruffy, but I just think he's so far out of the picture. He's on his way out, and he knows it himself. Just one quick thing to finish on. I watched Everton against Manchester City last night. Lukaku scoring again, Hugh. But it begs the question. I couldn't see Aidan McGeady or Stevie Naismith anywhere near that team at the moment. I think, you know, they'll be looking to the futures. I don't think it's in Scotland, but
well, Aidan's future might be in Scotland if Celtic could come up with the money, but I think that's unlikely. I think he'll end up probably in the Championship for 6 months anyway, because he must go to Paris.
Yeah, okay. It's been a joy as ever chatting to Hugh MacDonald. Look out on the programme for us auctioning off undoubtedly some of Ruffy's shirts, because they'll need to go once he starts going down into the medium when he gets fitter and fitter. Keep with us in this programme to see how it all pans out.